Hey, happy Monday, everyone. It's weather for Weather Geeks time. As usual on Monday, I have tag teaming things here with Mike Joyce. How was the weekend?
Well, Saturday was pretty calm here. Yesterday even was nice here in the valley, but I spent a lot of time in my evening yesterday tracking the violent tornadoes in Arkansas.
Yeah, this was a pretty well advertised outbreak. We and
Mhm.
others, of course, started talking about this last week, that the weekend was going to be pretty rough even into the first part of this week. And unfortunately, those prognostications came true. And unfortunately, there's been some reported fatalities, particularly in Arkansas. These are the storm reports from yesterday. Let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit for you. Maybe not. All right. Anyway, we had, of course, a major tornado. This has not been rated officially yet, has it? They haven't done a damage survey.
Don't think probably working on it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But suspicions are it could have been either an EF3 or perhaps even an EF4 based on some of the damage. And this was a tornado that was on the ground for well over an hour or something like that in central and northern Arkansas last night. And that was just one of several. These red dots on your screen here, again, apologize if it's a little hard to see, but Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, down into parts of Mississippi all had tornadic activity yesterday. And today is turning out to be pretty active once again. Let's talk about the present. We'll get up to our weather in just a second, but just a broader view of things. Never want to see a purple box on here, Mike. This is what we call in the meteorological community a particularly dangerous situation tornado box, tornado watch box. And this goes from eastern Louisiana right up into parts of Tennessee. And we've got a handful of warnings out here, especially in Mississippi, where you see the red polygons here. We've got some tornado warnings down there, some flash flood warnings up in Tennessee, where they've had too much rain, and a few severe thunderstorm warnings in here. And a fresh, over the last half an hour or so, a new tornado watch out here for St. Louis and up to Des Moines and into Davenport. And we talked a little bit over the weekend about the potential for some stronger storms to get far enough north to perhaps even get into Ohio. Nothing right now, but the Storm Prediction Center does have the slight risk, the yellow area, up to about Cincinnati this afternoon. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. No severe weather threat here in northeast Ohio and western Pennsylvania. We just have plain old rain this afternoon. This started, about 1 o'clock or so?
Right, yeah, a little after 1.
A little after 1, and earlier today there was some thunder and lightning with this, but I've got the lightning detector on, not seeing any out there right now. So this is just your garden variety April showers, and we'll see this probably for at least a few more hours before we get into a little bit of a break in the action, it looks like, for at least this evening, if not, a fair chunk of the overnight tonight. All right, as far as the temperatures go, once the rain started, it did start to cool off a little bit. Our high water mark when you were on the air at noon was in the mid-50s somewhere?
We were 53, I believe, so a degree higher.
Yeah, so we're hanging out around there, but look how cool it's gotten where the rain's been happening longer out towards Worcester, Akron, Canton. It's cooled off into the upper 40s, lower 50s, even a 46 there over in your stomping grounds over in Mansfield. So temperature is not going much of anywhere from here on out today. And let's talk about the timing of the rain. So if you want to do something outdoors, I suppose, for the rest of the day today, we'll kind of break this down hour by hour and show you what should happen. We'll start this off a couple of hours from now at 4 o'clock. High-resolution model here still shows the rain around. Yeah, this might be a little slow based on the current radar trends. This might have the rain a little too far west at 4 o'clock. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, our model says it's going to be raining, it looks like, through the dinner hour, and then here comes the break for around sunset. At least the rain lets up. What do you think, Mike? Is that a little slow, you think? Based on the current radar? I'm a little concerned that, it says it looks like this at 4 o'clock, but here's the current radar, which kind of looks like the model thinks the radar will look like at 4.
Right. Well, so it seemed like the rain kind of advanced a little quicker than what I was thinking yesterday. So
yeah, everything's happening maybe a little bit faster. So take the model here with a little bit of a grain of salt, and this is why Mike and I have jobs, is because these models are never 100% right.
Right.
And our job is to add value to them and to interpret them and tell you when we think they're right and wrong. And we suspect this is a little slow. So anyway, bottom line is, if you want to walk the dog or do something outdoors after work, after school today, I think you're going to get a few dry hours in, certainly towards 5, 6, 7 o'clock. So we'll have that to look forward to at least. It's not exactly going to be beautiful out with sunshine, but it probably won't be as raining as steadily as it is now. And, we mentioned that slight risk or enhanced risk of severe weather goes up to about Cincinnati this afternoon, this evening. The model's not real impressed with heavy convection there. It has most of it. It looks like in eastern or east central Kentucky, and not much getting up into southwest Ohio. So hopefully that pans out well for those in Cincinnati. Hopefully they don't have too many nasty storms to deal with for the rest of the day today. All right, let's refocus on the valley and talk about tomorrow, because things do turn a little more interesting tomorrow. Here's tomorrow morning. You're up and around or out the door forecast tomorrow morning looks kind of soggy again. More showers around. And we were talking before we hit record on this, Mike, that the atmosphere does turn unstable in parts of Ohio tomorrow, maybe not necessarily here. What ingredients do we have here or don't have here that we've been looking at as far as severe weather chances tomorrow?
Well, like we were saying earlier, we do have a lot of wind shear, which is changing the wind direction or speed or both, at different levels of the atmosphere. We're going to have plenty of that tomorrow, and that really helps, build up thunderstorms, and that would be an environment for even tornadic weather. But we don't have instability. We're not going to have that tomorrow. We're not going to, for that to happen, you need to have a very moist environment. Dew points aren't going to be all that high here in eastern Ohio and western PA. And while that'll probably happen a little bit further to the west, as we can see here, even like west central Ohio, it looks like we've got a couple spots that might have quite an unstable atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm showing what we call CAPE here, convective available potential energy, and that kind of bears out that idea that the values certainly get quite a bit higher from I-77 on west, Mansfield, Marion, places like that. That when we say convective available potential energy, basically the amount of energy available as parcels rise through the atmosphere, how much instability is there for them to keep rising instead of stop rising at some point. You mentioned the shear, or sometimes a fancy meteorological term we throw out is helicity, and those values are pretty high. In fact, they're off my color scale, high, just off to the east here. But certainly, there's enough turning of the wind as you go up in the atmosphere, and there's some speed shear as well. But can those parcels of air, rise high enough to get some good thunderstorms going? And we're kind of skeptical of that. I think there's a decent chance of some nastier storms later tomorrow in Cleveland and Mansfield, but maybe not necessarily here. The latest NAM does have a couple of storms around here late afternoon tomorrow. But again, are they severe? Probably not. In fact, this model doesn't brew up a whole lot west of us. This is actually a little bit of a change from previous runs that had some pretty decent storms out in central Ohio. So anyway, the bottom line we want to take away from tomorrow is it's not a washout. We've got a better chance of hearing some thunder tomorrow, I think, but the ingredients don't look great for there to be damaging winds or large hail necessarily around here. It might be a different story if storms can get going. Columbus, Mansfield, Cleveland, Cincinnati, if they can get going, they have an atmosphere that's more conducive to keep rising and produce some pretty nasty storms. So something that we'll have to keep an eye on for tomorrow. Let's talk about the rest of the week. And if you've been watching our forecast for the last few days, of course we've been talking about how wet of a week this is going to be. Let's go to Wednesday. Our low pressure system just sort of meandering around the western Great Lakes. Not a washout Wednesday. None of these days coming up I don't think are a washout, but there's going to be these showers that try to pop up from time to time. This looks like a really wet day over in central PA, down the I-95 corridor into Virginia, but we're far enough west that I think everything's pretty scattered on Wednesday. Thursday, as our low drifts up into the northern lakes and up into Canada, again, the atmosphere is going to be sort of unstable. The air aloft is cold. So, sure, it could shower, but it's not going to do a lot. I don't think necessarily most of the day. So, if you've got your golf outings later this week and softball games and things to do outdoors, we don't want to scare you off here. It's going to be probably damp. The soil's going to be wet from some rain. But, we're not going to guarantee that it's going to rain a whole lot when you want to be outdoors. It might not do much at all. Just real spotty showers probably Wednesday into Thursday. Here's Friday. Same idea. We've got these scattered showers around. And heading into the weekend, not exactly a warm weekend coming up, and sure, there might be a few more showers. We probably don't shake this unsettled pattern completely until at least a week from now. Not exactly a great pattern.
I agree.
Yeah, and I posted this on social media this morning. National Weather Service official predictions here for rain over the next 7 days. This looks like a lot, but keep in mind it's over the course of 7 days. This isn't all coming at once. The bullseye probably over towards I-95, Philly to D.C., with maybe someone gets 5 inches over there. Over here, this might be a little generous, but the potential is there, especially if we get some storms of 2 inches 1.5 to 2 inches over the next 7 days. So everything's greening up. It's going to continue to green up with all of this wet weather and unsettled weather, and that's going to have an influence on temperatures. Here's the next 16 days worth of temperatures on the latest GFS Ensemble model. You don't see a lot of the bars going up here where we want them. So not a lot of above average days coming up, it looks like, if this has the right idea. And I think this has a fair amount of support from other models. So if you're looking for 80-degree days through mid-May, odds aren't real good at this point.
Not looking like it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks on this Monday. I'll see you tonight on the news, 21 News at 6 and 11. You'll see Mike back in the weekend share on Saturday.